Greetings, friends. This week's video is going to be a little bit different. Had something happen a few days ago that got me thinking and made me kind of sad, to be perfectly honest. And I thought I'd tell you about it. And if you've been here before, you know that I try and keep things upbeat and positive. And that's not to say bad things don't happen or sad things don't happen. They do. They happen to everybody. So I'll try not to make this a downer, but it's a little bit different for me this time. I was on my walk the other morning and I was by myself. Kathy was doing something else, and so I was walking alone, and I was on my way back. Had made the turnaround and was on my way back up the hill and stopped to take a little break, and I saw a young fella coming towards me. And it's unusual to see another pedestrian on our walk. It's not, the roads are not heavily traveled by walkers, put it that way. So it was, first of all, it was unusual to see somebody walking. And he crossed the road to be on the same side as I was. And he was a younger fella, early 20s, maybe a little unkempt, shall we say. So my guard was up a little bit. And he stopped and asked if I could do him a favor and let him use my phone. That his phone had died and he needed to call somebody. And like I said, my guard was up. It makes me feel bad just thinking about it now. But anyway, I hesitated a minute and then took my phone out and logged in, and before I handed it to him, I said, "You're not going to run on me, are you?" And he said, "No." He said, "You can hold my phone if you want to. It's just dead." So I let him make his call, and he made a couple of calls trying to find a ride, I guess. And when he made contact and did what he needed to do, he handed the phone back and said thanks and that. And I wished him good luck, and he went on his way, and I went on mine. And it got me thinking. And not great thoughts, put it that way. First of all, that coming in contact with another person put me on edge right away. It got me thinking that what a sad place we're in right now, where we can't come in contact with somebody we don't know without wondering if it's going to be a good contact or a bad contact. I think that's a sorry place to be. And unfortunately we are. Not in all circumstances, but caution in certain circumstances is not, it's different than it used to be. There was a time if I met somebody on the road like that, and if they'd asked me to borrow a phone, before we carried our phones, I wouldn't have hesitated. I was just, sure, help yourself. But now, because of the way things are, my first thought was, he's going to grab my phone and take off, and I'm not going to be able to catch him. It made me feel bad that we're in that frame of mind now in a lot of circumstances. That's just one instance, but I think you get the gist of what I'm saying here. I've had a lot of experience through my life. Things have changed dramatically in many, many ways. But like I said, there was a time when we didn't feel that way. And I got to thinking about what we call the good old days. I don't know if you remember the song by Carly Simon, "These Are the Good Old Days." Some truth to that. Even today, these are the good old days, or will be the good old days sometime in the future. 10 years from now, these will be the good old days to somebody. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 5 years from now. I don't know how to feel about that. Encounters like that don't feel like good old days. This came across my Facebook feed yesterday, so I thought I'd share it with you. One of the strangest things about getting older is missing a time that no longer exists. You start to feel homesick for a past life, a feeling you can't return to. It's a type of homesickness no one ever warns you about. And there's a certain amount of truth to that if you think about it. There's no going back to how things used to be. That's gone. Thankfully, we experienced it, but it's gone. Its effect stays with us forever, but the period of time is no longer with us, and it's not something you could go back to. I thought that was an interesting thought and timely. So anyway, my encounter with the young man out on the road there, even though it turned out fine, it made me a little sad that it happened the way it did, that I reacted the way I did, although I'm not sure I should have reacted any other way, but it is what it is, as they say. So I try not to think about it too much. It comes to mind from time to time, but I try not to dwell on it. These are great days. There are occasional bad things that happen, but these are good days. This is a good time to be alive, in spite of all the craziness that's going on. So thanks for indulging my atypical video this week. Hopefully we'll get back on track next week. I'm taping this a little bit early because we're going to be gone next weekend, and I wanted to get it on the interweb there for Sunday. Peace and joy, my friends. Stay happy.